Hello, all my communicators and families. I hope that you are doing well. Today, I'd like to focus on my friends who are just starting with the core board. So my friends who have built up some skills with picture exchange and now are ready to be moving to a little more robust of a system. So the first thing that you are going to get is a core board. If your communicator has difficulty with distraction, or you feel like this array might be a little overstimulating to them, you are welcome to, and I definitely have in the past, take black construction paper and, cover up parts of it that you're not working on. You want them to be able to see some other symbols because you are learning to visually discriminate the symbols and choose from a bit larger of a field. But it is fine to cover the symbols that you know you won't be working with and just have, 4 exposed or something like that if you feel like this is going to be a little much for you and your communicator to manage. So that's the first thing, the core board. The second thing that you're going to want to have is a few options of things that are very motivating to your communicator. So favorite toys, special toys, activities, things that are very, very, very preferred. If you are chasing your child around, trying to get them to come and sit down to ask for this item or material, it is not motivating to them. We're back to the drawing board. We're going to have to pick something else. This should be something that your child, when you have it around, that your communicator is very interested in, very motivated to ask for, because you're going to be using their preference and their desire for that item to guide your communication. So I typically have success with sort of sensory-based play objects or toys. So things that are very interesting to touch or interesting to look at, like slinkies, water we're going to demonstrate in a minute, and those types of things. So I would start there. If you know what your communicator prefers, then you can go ahead and bust that out. Other things that can be exciting, mini trampolines, spinning chairs, bouncy balls. So you're going to have those sort of in your stead ready, and you're going to present your first item. Just have it here. You can be engaging with it in a tempting manner. And sometimes it helps to have another adult, if that is a luxury that you have in your life, to be sort of physically guiding your communicator to be staying in the area, or setting up the area in a way that is most conducive to your communicator. So having a very simple space and sort of removing options that your communicator might be able to grab instead of having to work hard for the item that you have. So those are just sort of some caveats before we get started here. So I would choose to work with at least 2 symbols at a time, because you want to sort of avoid your communicator getting really rigid with just, I touch one and that means everything. So you're going to be I like to have 2 or 3 in play that I'm working with, just so that you don't accidentally teach your communicator that they only need to know where one of them is. They need to know off the bat that these are different and they have different meanings, and we're going to learn all of their meanings. So let's start with something. So one thing that my friends tend to really like is water play. This is legit just like an empty condiment bottle, but you could use empty juice, whatever, a sprayer, anything that you are able to control the flow of. Awesome. I mean, honestly, you could probably just use a cup. So you are going to present it. You might, and your communicator is kind of going to approach and be curious what's going on. You can maybe show the dumping, and they're probably going to reach for it. So you're going to model want. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm upside down. Want. You're going to model want. You want that, and hopefully they are going to touch it. Based on your knowledge of the communicator, you might show them want, and then they hold out their hands, you squirt it on them. You might give them a few trials of that, of you just modeling it. And then you're gonna kind of raise the expectation that they need to touch that in order to get the desired outcome, the water over their hands or whatever you're using that is gonna be interesting and awesome to them. I would also recommend that you cycle relatively quickly through different toy options because you want to keep it positive. You want to be building positive associations with communication, with the core board, with yourself, with the toys, and you don't want them to be getting bored. So you kind of want to have a quit while you're ahead, end on a good note type of mentality about it. The other thing, well, let's do this one first. So here's another item that I might bring to a session. Remember these from Spencer's Gifts in the 90s? Ordered mine on Amazon. So for this one, you might choose the symbol to be working with is on. You know, you want it on your hand. So again, you're gonna just be being very tantalizing with the object. For some students, you playing with the object is interesting enough, so they're not motivated to ask for it because it's interesting enough to watch you. If that's the case, and feel out your communicator, if they're not reaching for it, they're not interested, and you just might want to just park it and wait for their curiosity to motivate them. Do not be afraid to wait. Make heavy use of wait time. It takes these communicators sometimes a little longer to process what is going on. So even though it might feel uncomfortable, go ahead and be comfortable being uncomfortable. Get used to putting in wait time. Just to give them a chance to process that information. Okay, so say for this one, we're gonna focus on. So, you know, I'm gonna model it, they're gonna reach for it, I'm gonna show them what it does, and they're gonna be interested, and I'm gonna take it back. When I take it back, sometimes I model, oh, my turn, so they get used to knowing that I'm asking for an object back, and that is a polite way to ask for an object. So my turn when I take it back, and then they reach for it, and I say, oh, on, you want that on you. Again, I might give them a free trial of 1 or 2 times where I'm modeling that, and then I'm gonna raise my expectation that they are gonna touch it in order to request. If your communicator says on, boom, give it to them. They asked for it. So they're going to say on, they're going to touch on. You're going to give them a minute to play with it, put it on them, and then you're going to take it back. Before you take it back, you're going to say, oh, my turn, and you're going to take it back. And you're just going to do a few back and forths of that. Again, keeping it quick, keeping it interesting, giving them time to ask, but then if they start showing signs of boredom or wandering away, change activities. And try and set yourself up for success. If your kid is usually happier in the morning or, in the evening or whenever, try and set yourself up for a time that you know your communicator is going to be in a better mood and more receptive to having to work for what they want. I'll just do one more activity. These are like spin tops. So again, I would start with showing my communicator what they're asking for, so they know if it's worth it to them to push on if they care about it enough to work for it. And then I am going to model the sign that we're, the symbol that we're working with. So for this one, it would be go. You want to make it go. And so they're going to show you go. You're going to go ahead and give them what they asked for, honor that request, go! If you stop it, you might want to model stop. That is sometimes a very funny back and forth for you to do, go, stop, go, stop. If they're not as interested in the stopping, leave it out, no pressure there. And as you take it, again, you're modeling, oh, it's my turn. It's my turn. And so that's pretty much it. Keep it positive, keep it fun, keep it engaging. If you are having to chase your child around, we have not found an object that is enticing enough for them. If it starts to get fussy, if you see them starting to get bored or fussy, go ahead and call it off and try another time. It's more important to build up little successes, maybe short bursts of time at first, than it is to push them past their sort of window of tolerance for working. So if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. If you need a core board, let me know. Otherwise, happy communicating. Good luck to you. You got this. You and your communicator have this, and I'm pulling for you. All right.